Hi, and welcome to Inside View. I am your host, Joel Metzger, and joining me on this show is Cliff Edson, who is the District 1 Calaveras County Supervisor. Cliff, welcome.
Thank you, Joel.
Glad to have you on the show. So you are just entering your third year, I guess, as supervisor now. So you have 2 years under your belt. How are things going?
I think they're going pretty good. It's been quite a learning experience. It's nothing like I thought it was. You find out that we live in a very great part of the country, and we have some great people that are interested in making our county a better place. So, I'm happy.
I'm remembering back to when I was hosting some debates back when you were running for supervisor, and one of the things that you emphasized was that you are not a politician, and that you aren't coming in to do what normal politicians do. And do you still feel that way? Do you still feel like you're not a politician, or have you gone over to the dark side and become one?
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm a politician. I'm a worker. I like to work. I like to get things accomplished. I like to find solutions, and that's pretty much what I've been doing for since I began. Some politics has to be involved in that, and in any business it's like that. But I'm still not. I'm not committed to politics at all.
You mentioned that being a supervisor wasn't necessarily what you thought it would be. Back when we first talked about it and you were campaigning. What are the things that have surprised you about this role?
How much or how little progress we could actually make with how hard you work. We work. At least I know that our board now, pretty hard-working board. I work pretty darn hard. And it seems like we should be able to get more results for the county. But basically the county, what they do is they process what comes to them. So unless you're out banging on doors and drumming up business, they're just going to process what comes to them. That's what they do. And they don't have any extra help to do any more than that. So I guess I'm like the 800-pound gorilla in the little room, and so I go out and I try to rattle as much as I can.
So yeah, that must be kind of frustrating. I mean, you come from the private sector, you own your own business in town, and if you want to make change, you usually can do that in short order, I imagine, and then going into a bureaucracy. So you've been a little frustrated with the pace of things, and yet you have actually been able to accomplish quite a few things despite the challenges that you face. And I wanted to give you a chance to just recap some of those things that you're really proud of over the first 2 years, because one thing that I feel about most public servants is people don't really know or are made aware of all the things that you're out there doing, and so I want to make sure that people know what you have been able to accomplish so far.
Sure. One of the things I've been pretty consistent at is posting my some of my daily workings on Facebook.
I see that all the time. Yeah, that's great.
I like to try to keep people informed. There's a lot of people that thank me for that because they thank me because they wouldn't have known about it, number one, and it gives the people a chance to see some of the things that we go through on a daily basis. I've had a few accomplishments that I think are pretty important. One was the cement plant. If anybody knows about the cement plant, there used to be cement towers there. And when even before I got into the supervisor's position, I recognized that property was pretty significant in the county because it's a heavy-duty industrial-based property. And with those big old towers there, it seemed to me that they looked like they were tombstones. Like, okay, we're dead. That's it. That property was not marketable at that point. And so I felt that if we got those towers down, maybe we can make that property a little bit more marketable and get something going there. And lo and behold, it worked out that way. So, you go out there now and they're gone.
And is that property owned by the county, or is it still owned by the company that owned the cement plant at one time?
It is owned by Lehigh, this is cement plant company. There's been a few changes in their ownership, but yeah, it's owned by them.
And is there still a gas line that comes all the way up from the valley to that property?
There is. It's a reason why we have natural gas here, actually. It's an 8-inch natural gas line that goes up to the cement plant. Geez, that's really an asset right there. And plus, their transmission lines for power are really 3-phase power and good power source too.
So there could be some serious business that would go in there, which could be a boon to Calaveras County.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, what's another thing that you're real proud of for the first couple of years?
Well, you know, you go through, people bring things to you. Just recently we had, driving through Valley Springs a few months ago, I looked up at the flag and it was tattered right in the middle at the 1226 intersection. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to go get a flag. You know, I heard people talking about it online, but then there's the light issue. Didn't know about the light, so anyhow, I got a flag. Supervisor Steve Kearney got involved in it with me, and we went down and we hung that up, and that was kind of a proud moment. And I have a replacement flag for it already, just in case that one gets tattered. So it's important that we take care of our country's flag.
Absolutely.
And let's see.
You've gotten really involved with education,
I have.
And you know, you've also gotten involved in the economy, and you've been a big proponent of both those things. How does education and junior colleges being here, having a vested interest in the county, tie into our economic future in your mind?
Well, what's happened in the past 8 years is, you know, Delta College used to be here in a big way back in the 70s when there was economy here. Mm-hmm. There were jobs, there were people working, students were here, and they could take classes here. That kept our communities whole and balanced. When the economy left, so did Delta College, and not just Delta, but Columbia as well. So Delta College didn't offer classes here for about 8 years. We're still paying that assessment on our property taxes, and so that always bothered me. So when I got into office, one of the first things I did was tackle that. I created a committee, and Mark Campbell helped facilitate that. Sherry Roosh was on it, John Garamendi Jr., Zero McDaniels, Dave Tanner, Terry Tanner, Mark Campbell, of course, Grant Barrett, Jan Barrett. Dana Jorgensen was a huge help to us from Senator Barry Hill and Assemblyman Bigelow's office. And also Chris Wright was involved in that. And so what we did was we formulated a plan on what can we do with Delta College. We knew that they weren't going to come here and build a campus. It's just not the right time. We didn't have, it was the economy for it. They didn't want to spend the money on it, really. We're like the stepchild that nobody wanted, you know, but they don't mind taking the money. So we talked to Assemblyman Bigelow, and he says, well, give them a chance to work with you and see what you can get, how you can get them to cooperate. Because we wanted to basically petition the state to get out of their district and find a district that wanted to work with us. Mm-hmm. So Sherry Roosh and I put together a paper, basically a plan that said this is what Calaveras County looks like with post-secondary education. And we went to senators and assembly people and told them this is what we're after. We're not asking anything out of the ordinary. We want return on our investment. And if we don't get it, we would like your support on getting us out of their district and moving to another district, which is really hard to do, by the way. And there's a lot of stuff involved in that, like the bond measure that you can't get out of.
Okay.
So, so by the time we got to Delta, Dr. Kathy Hart was invited us to meet with her, and she had the plan in front of her when we walked in the door, and she's looking at it, and she goes, I think we could do this. So I thought, wow, that was a lot of effort reaching up to that point. But it was a very, very good feeling when we walked out that day. And the good news is we also got them to hire a liaison that works for us, or works for Delta College, but is a liaison between Delta and us. And Sherry Roosh got that job. So she's building our programs.
And the key to that is, how would this play back into the economy in terms of educating our youth in the actual county instead of everyone leaving as soon as they reach high school?
So, we've been exporting our very important things our whole life. We exported gold, cement, logs, and we've helped to build everything in California. And we started exporting our students. They weren't coming back. So imagine your brightest young folks leaving, and their parents are still here. Something happens to their parents, they have to rent out the house. The kids aren't coming back. They've already have a family where they are. And then they rent it out. There's no real jobs around here, so who they can rent it out to? In a lot of cases, it's not a very desirable situation. Mm-hmm. So now we are seeing the results of that for like 3 decades, or for, well, let's see, eight years, at least the past 8 years, right? We need to keep our best and brightest students here in the county. That will not only drive a small part of our economy, but it'll give us a workforce when there is jobs available. It's pretty hard to find people that can actually take on a full-time job around here.
And to that point, we've reached a point that's very frustrating for many people just in terms of the labor force available, the entrepreneurs, what kind of county support is there, what kind of Chamber of Commerce or Economic Development Agency or council, all of these agencies that could be helpful in some way. Can they come together and can they actually work collaboratively to foster what we need in terms of some sort of just a head start for folks who actually do want to try to make a go of it here? And you said something earlier which I think is key, which is the county process is what comes to it. And a lot of people think that the county, you, Cliff Edson, are supposed to create jobs. And I think it's important to make that distinction. You can help foster the right environment, but you can't necessarily, as a supervisor, go out and create jobs. Is that the right understanding?
It's absolutely true, although I created one job, so I feel pretty good about that.
Okay.
And it's true. Economic Development Company was dormant when I got into office. They actually went to the chamber, and the chamber absorbed them, so it wasn't going anywhere. Mm-hmm. There's a few people in the chamber that wanted to get it removed from the chamber and get it back on its own feet. Dave Jeffords, Maurice Bennett, Bob Doughton, Mark. Oh no, I can't think of his name. Anyhow, and I wanted to. It's one of the first things I did to get into office was have an economic development study session. This was important to me to get started. It is now starting to work out well. They're on their feet. They've done a SWOT exercise to find out what are the important things in the county and what direction they need to go. And they're also working with Larry Cope, from Tuolumne, their economic development person. And I'm starting to feel pretty good about them. The Chamber of Commerce is another one. The Chamber of Commerce needs to support our businesses and showcase our businesses. Stacy Johnston was hired by them as their executive director. She's doing a phenomenal job. She's a very good people person. She is really good at reaching out and talking to people. She's also connected the chamber with the counties on either side of us so that we can work collaboratively with them. The one thing I like that she does is she treats the whole county as one. She treats it equally, and I think that's really important for success.
Oh, absolutely. There are a lot of other things I want you to have a chance to touch on, but let's just tackle a few that I know people are interested in. The budget has been an ongoing challenge. We, at one point, were facing in the neighborhood of an $8 million deficit. What's the update on the budget, and what's the outlook for this year?
So when we started, we had an $8 million deficit. Well, it went from 5 to 7 to 8. And the first year, we were able to cut it by about $4 million. That means that we had to cut deep. There were a lot of people over there doing more, and great employees at the county. They know the importance of their jobs. They know what they have to do to help us balance our budget. It's really important. This year, if we keep going and we hold steady the way we are right now, by the end of the year, projections are we'll be down to about 900,000 deficit, which is phenomenal. That means people are taking cuts. That means that like for instance, the Public Works is going to have to take about a $900,000 reduction on their budget. And they're going to have to get creative and find ways to do the work without. We don't want to cut services, but they're going to have to find ways to run lean. And we are not in favor of layoffs. We're absolutely trying not to do that. And we have to run lean and hope the economy picks up.
And if the economy picks up, then properties are worth more, and then the percent of the property tax that the county gets would then go up. And is that really the biggest source of income that would make the biggest difference?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're just all hoping that we see this trend continue in the right direction.
Yes, it seems to be coming around. I think that, I've been told that people are more confident now than they were a couple of years ago. The gas prices helped here just recently.
Yeah.
I noticed in my own business, when the gas prices go down, our business goes up. It's apparent that, that is a big driver. We don't have any control of that, but it's still, I've talked to contractors in the area, and they all say they have work. So feeling pretty good about that. I know that Jeff White, our buildings department official, said that there has been an increase in permits and also in planning.
Very good, very good. Another, speaking of kind of development, the general plan is ongoing, and I know it is just absolutely key to have a new general plan approved because certain things are stalled until that new general plan is approved. There's some liability for the county and some uncertainty for the developers as well. It affects really all aspects of the county. What is the status of that, and when can the community expect to see this new plan passed and then kind of get back on track?
Well, it depends really on how much effort is put into the inner workings of the general plan. So right now, if everything went real smooth, we could be 2015, 2016, and probably about midway through 2017, we could have a general plan.
Okay.
If we delay it somehow by making it cumbersome and adding probably too many things that may not have to be in a general plan, then we could stay on track. If we like for instance, we have a bunch of community plans that want to go into that, right? There are some community plans that could just fall right into it really easy because they are complete. They have been for years. They're very easy to possibly fit in there. Mm-hmm. But there are some that are still controversial, and they will be, So that makes it a little bit more difficult. That could stall us. So Peter Maurer will come out with a plan and make recommendations to the board and the Planning Commission as a group, and then we'll decide how we're going to move forward with that.
Can you explain to the folks why this is taking so long? Because if we look back, long before you were there, this has been an ongoing issue, and I know a lot of people are frustrated by that.
It is, and it's cost us a lot of money. Mm-hmm. The county has to be very careful on what it does. There's always somebody out there that wants to file a lawsuit against it, which I find kind of weird because we're actually suing ourselves. So You know, I don't believe in that. So it's taken a long time for a lot of reasons. That is one, because we have to make sure that we're putting out the best product possible to make it defensible. The other reason is we have had rotating planning directors for the past, 6 or 8 years. And that makes it really hard to stay consistently on one project and have it follow through in a very consistent manner, because everybody has their own way of doing things. We have a planning department right now that is extremely consistent. Peter Maurer, our planning director, has lots of experience. He's very dedicated to the general plan and the planning department. As a matter of fact, I got a call the other day from a gentleman that lives in the county who is an appraiser, and he works with 9 different counties, and he has told me that whatever you guys did in the planning department in the past year is working, because this is the best planning department we've had, or that he works with in 9 counties. I was floored, because I always get the other calls, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was just ecstatic by that report, and you know, I still have to write the letter to them, to Peter, to thank him for their efforts. We, I think, are on the right track, and so I think that part of the delay has been the just the overturning of different planning directors.
Gotcha. There's a really hot topic right now with Lake Tulloch down in the Copperopolis area. The word from the Oakdale Irrigation District was last week that they may drain it, was the word, but I mean, it would really be more of a drawdown to a lower level than normal. And a lot of people who own homes and businesses in that portion of the county are really concerned, because Tulloch is one of the key economic drivers for that area, if not the most important economic driver. I know that the County Board of Supervisors is going to consider this item at the next meeting next week. And what do you know about this? What kind of impact is it going to have on the county, and what's the board looking at possibly doing?
Well, as far as I know, I haven't read the agenda item yet.
Okay.
But as far as I know, the board supports not drawing it down. We're in a drought situation. We need water here too. People need water, and that is probably absolutely the most important thing. So I would say that I would consider having a resolution that supports our Senator Berryhill and Assemblyman Bigelow on their efforts to have it remain in Lake Tulloch, to not draw that lake down. And because we cannot just, you know, it can get worse fast. People are starting to panic because of the water situation. This is just the beginning. If they draw this lake down because of the fish over people, I don't agree with that.
Gotcha. And I know that at the next meeting, a lot more information is going to be presented to your board, but nothing's really going to be set in stone until mid-April, when the final snow report comes down, and the Bureau of Reclamation and the National Marine Fisheries Service kind of agree on how much fish flows they want to be coming out of Maloney's and Tulloch. And so it's really fascinating that you have environmental needs with endangered species in the Stanislaus River, and their needs pitted against human and farmer needs for their crops and then for human consumption. And trying to find some sort of a compromise that will meet everybody's needs is going to be very difficult, because Maloney's is likely to go down to dead pool this year, 80,000 acre feet. We haven't seen that since you know, the 90s, or maybe even into the 80s. So what do you hear about drought? Are your constituents concerned about it, or is it not really a big issue in Calaveras from what you've heard?
Oh no, we're concerned about it. We actually are doing really well here in the county. You know, they asked for 20% reduction here. I think we're at 22%, if I'm right.
Right. Yeah.
And we also do a great job of reusing our water, recycling. We reuse about 85% of our water. I think that if the rest of the state would do that, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now. So, you know, there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work around conservation in the valley, in the Bay Area. And take, for instance, San Francisco. San Francisco uses their water from Hetch Hetchy. They use 100% of their water. They reuse or recycle 10%. The rest of it goes straight out to the ocean. That's, you know, what if they could turn that around and pipe it over to the California Aqueduct and send it down, you know, to LA or down to the farmers? The farmers right now, I know some farmers personally down by Firebaugh, and usually they're running 16 wells on their farm. They're down to 4 wells. They have a crew of 80 people, and 20 of them are still working. So you can imagine that times 1,000 or more with the farms in the valley. It is very serious drought. People need education on water. People need to know when they turn that tap on, water comes out, why it comes out, where it comes from, and how can we better manage that.
And to that point, and we only have about a minute left here,
Okay.
but you have a watershed management program, and you've really been spearheading this. If people wanted to find out more, because I know we don't have enough time to really go into it, where could they find out about your ideas?
I've been giving presentations. I will, you can call me on 209-612-8938. This program is designed to manage our watershed, to produce more water, to reduce wildfire danger, and to put a bunch of people to work here in Calaveras County. That's what it'll do. The state needs to help us with that to be able to get it started. Within a 5-year period, it can be self-sustainable, and we need to work in that direction. That's our future.
And if this is successful, do you think it could be the new industry managing the watershed that might be what timber or mining was for us back in the day?
Yes, yes, it will be all of that too. It'll be timber, and it will be range management, flood control, water. You start recharging your aquifers, all of that. Plus, it'll give us a chance to produce electricity through the through bio. You know, you get your chips. You can do torrefication process with that and create a product. And plus, it'll help us with our agriculture. It'll improve our ag. So we'll have a diverse economy if we can just do what the Incas did. That would be really great.
So just in the last minute that we have, do you want to leave anything with your constituents that you'd like them to know?
Well, you know, there's a couple of things that I'm going after.
And we only just have a few seconds.
So one of the things is a business incubator here in San Andreas. It's the Hubbardie Building. I'd like to get the county to work out a deal with the Chamber of Commerce. They will create a Calaveras Creations store, which is something that anybody from Calaveras can bring in their wares, anything that they make, and they can sell it on consignment. Learn how to operate a business because they'll help them do that, and that would help us with entrepreneurship.
We got to go, Cliff.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me on Inside View. I'm your host, Joel Metzger, and I hope you join me next time.